Okay, so today I'm gonna be talking about my top 5 overhated anime. What I mean by that, I'm looking at the shows that really get a lot of hate on the internet for no reason at all, when they are really good shows, or maybe they may have a scene or two or some problems here and there. But I mean, for the most part, they're good shows. But I feel like people just hop on the train of hating them for no reason, and it kind of ruins its reputation. So I mean, I'm gonna be talking about my top 5 that I personally feel like people should go watch, and that I feel like are actually really good, and that if you give it a chance, you'll actually end up really liking it. So I'm just gonna hop into it really quick. There may be spoilers in this video. I don't know, but I'm just gonna warn it. If there is, I'll say it when I get to that part. But I mean, starting off at number 5, I got JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Okay, so anyone who has seen JoJo's obviously loves it for the most part. I don't really see any hate coming from the people who have watched the show and completed the show or read it, whatever. But when it comes to people who have not seen the show and maybe have seen a clip here and there or some art style, it for the most part it's always hate coming. I was one of them. I would always say on the show, I'd be like, I'm never watching this show. This show looks very sus and it doesn't look good. I don't know how this show could be good. Blah blah blah. When in reality, it's a top tier show. If you haven't seen the show, definitely. I know it's hard. I really do. I know it's hard because the animation style is a little bit different than your typical anime, and I know that may be a turnoff for a lot of people. Me personally, when I watched the show, it was. But when I actually got into the show, I actually ended up really enjoying the art style. I really, really ended up enjoying the art style because for that show specifically, it just works. It works really, really well, and it fits the show. If that show was not that art style, it just wouldn't work as well. It really wouldn't. So when you watch it, that's what you'll realize, and you'll come to understand that that's just how that specific show has to be. It's very over exaggerated, but it does it really, really well. And I don't feel like people give it if they watch it, they give it the credit. But there's just a lot of ignorant people who don't watch the show. And I just feel like it really has to get a better reputation because there are some scenes that look very, very bad to people who haven't watched the show. But also the creators purposely make them look that way. You know what I mean? There's a show where Avdol and Joseph or Jonathan, I don't remember which Joestar it was, but when they were looked like they were dry humping each other, which they were, but due to the power, they were magnetically stuck to each other, and they just made it was like a funny scene. But obviously anyone seeing a random clip online would be like, what is going on? I'm not watching this show. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those shows you really just got to give it a chance. The show is top tier, and I feel like it gets way too much hate from people who haven't seen the show. So I just had to put it in here because I feel like it is definitely a must watch, especially with part 6 coming out. At number 4, I got Fire Force. I don't know where the Fire Force hate came from, and it's really weird because when Fire Force was just about to drop, everyone was talking about how great of a show it was. I remember exactly, Fire Force was dropping around the same time as Dr. Stone, like a week or two difference. And everyone was talking about how good of a show Fire Force was going to be. And I don't know what happened. I think season 2 Fire Force is literally better than season 1. But as soon as season 2 hit, it's like a switch flipped, and I see so many people hating on Fire Force for no reason, saying that it's mid, saying this, that, this, and third. Honestly, I will admit, there are some, like, the character development, as of right now, really not that deep, really not that in depth, and it's very, very mid in terms of character development. If we were talking about animation, fighting, and even storyline, honestly, the storyline is not even bad at all with what they're doing. It is like a B plus, almost an A show. I feel like I don't understand why people hate on this show. I feel like Fire Force right now, with the new gen anime that are out right now, is a must watch. Is a must watch because also the sound effects. Oh my goodness! Don't even get me started on those sound effects. Those sound effects in that show are absolutely insane. And I feel like Fire Force really does everything well with its characters and its aesthetic and just all of it, the color, like it does everything well. Again, the only thing I feel like it does not have that great of right now is character development, because it's your typical characters that have like that one character trait about them, and they kind of just roll with it for the most part as of right now. But I guess we'll see the more in depth we get, because I hear the manga is going absolutely insane right now. So I'm kind of excited to see that. Not kind of, I'm really excited to see that actually. And I think season 2 ended off really well with, spoiler alert, I don't know if if this has anything to do with Soul Eater, but the fact that the Soul Eater moon was there. I haven't watched Soul Eater, but I heard that it may or may not have something to do with the Soul Eater universe, and if that's the case, then I feel like the show would get even better. I feel like it would just get even better, and I don't know. But I'm really excited to see what they do with the next season. But I feel like Fire Force is really overhated for no reason, and it is a must-watch again. Another must-watch new gen. Okay, number 3, watch Black Clover, dog. Watch Black Clover. I don't know why it get. Okay, yes I do. The animation was very bad. It was god awful. I'm not gonna lie. For some of the fights in the beginning of the show, animation was absolutely horrendous. You really couldn't get worse than that. You really couldn't. And then there was some CGI that was awful, looking like Seven Deadly Sins, really. But the storyline and the characters, I feel like the characters. Oh yeah, and Asta screaming. I know that was a big deal. Only happened for like 10 episodes though, but that's besides the point. The characters and the storyline and the world building in that show, I just feel like are better than My Hero, and I'm going to compare it to My Hero because I feel like that is like the main comparison, Black Clover and My Hero, because they both came out relatively at the same time, and they were both in that new gen, not like the new gen, but like the middle sort of front runners for the new. I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, Black Clover, I just feel like is a lot better of a show. And also, people really hate on this show because they compare it to Naruto. They say it's a copy of Naruto, and can you please inform me how many other shows use the same shonen formula that Naruto uses, with the demon in someone and then having the best friend rival? There's Jujutsu Kaisen with the demon, and then there's Ichigo having his hollow. And like, first of all, so many other shows use the demon formula. Literally so many other shows, and so many other shows use the same, oh, best friend has a rival type thing. Like, it's all very similar with all different stories and different characters. So I really don't know why everyone specifically hopped on Black Clover for that. I honestly don't. I honestly do not, because it's not like it was the same scenario as Naruto. Naruto, if he didn't even have the Nine Tails, would have still been a very, very strong ninja. Probably, honestly, would have still become a Hokage at the end of the day, because of just how much chakra he had and who his parents were. So I really don't. And he was born with his power. Asta wasn't like, he was, but he wasn't necessarily born with his power. And he was powerless. He was literally powerless. If anything, you would just have to compare it to My Hero. And you would have to compare My Hero to Black Clover. I don't know which one came first, but Deku was powerless, Asta was powerless. And then they both got their powers. Deku was given them by someone, and then Asta's was just by his genetic makeup. He just got it late. That's it. That's the only difference. But I mean, like, I don't really understand why that was such a big deal. And I mean, if we're really comparing, Naruto also got his power from someone, because Minato gave it to him. No, that's just stupid. That's just stupid of me to say. But I'm just saying, like, why? Why do people hate on Black Clover the way they do? And don't even get me started on the soundtrack. Black Clover's soundtrack beats every other soundtrack in the new gen. Every other soundtrack. You will not get a better OST from any of these other shows other than Black Clover. Maybe Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is the only one close to Black Clover in terms of its music, I feel like, right now, okay? But yeah, Black Clover, as of right now, and where the story is going and where the story is right now, is just so good. Spoiler alert, kind of. So click forward a little bit to skip this if you're not caught up in Black Clover. But him meeting Lieb, and then Noct, and then Yami getting kidnapped, I was reading the manga, but it was getting so good that I literally stopped reading the manga, because I just wanted to see it animated whenever they decide to start the anime back up in however many years or months, whatever they do. But yeah, but in my opinion, I just feel like Black Clover is a way better show than people give it credit for, and it definitely needs the recognition it deserves, because I hear about the manga in circulation, and they don't even have that much manga in circulation, and they don't have that many manga sales, and it's very unfortunate to see, really, because it is a great show that is just as good, if not better, than My Hero Academia. And I feel like My Hero Academia is really, really overhyped, even though it is a great show, don't get me wrong, but it is just overhyped because it had good animation backing it. It really did, and it's a simple show that a lot of people can gravitate to. So it just had great animation and its simplicity, and it was just a hit, just like that. You know, Black Clover, I feel like, is a little more complicated, and the world's a little bit more complicated than just having a superpower and becoming the best hero. Like, obviously, Asta's goal is becoming the Wizard King, but I feel like the world's a little bit more complicated in the power system and all that stuff. And obviously, it just didn't have the animation backing it, plus Asta's mental screaming in the first 1 through 10 episodes. So I mean, yeah, it could be a turnoff for people. It really could be, and I understand it. But that is my number 3. Watch Black Clover. Great show. On to number 2, Bleach, man. Oh my gosh. This one hurts so bad. Because aside from Naruto, I watched Naruto as a kid, and then I watched Bleach when I was about 14 years old. Bleach was the second anime that I watched. I'm not counting Pokemon, but Bleach was the second anime I watched, like battle anime or shonen type of stuff. Second one I watched, and I absolutely fell in love with it. To this day, it is still in my top 10 because it is just, oh my gosh, the world and the characters. The filler, though, oh my gosh, the filler. And I know that's a big reason why a lot of people hate on it. That filler is absolutely, it's a menace, man. I think Bleach is probably over 50% filler. I'm not gonna lie to you, which is very bad. And I'll admit it, it's very bad. Let me see, let me look it up real quick. Okay, surprisingly, Bleach is only 45%. I'm not gonna say only 45% filler, but it's under 50%, which I didn't expect at all. But the fact that it's even close is bad. That's really bad. And there's like 380 episodes, I think, or some shit like that. So that's like what? Like 150 episodes of filler, which is awful. It's really bad. That's really bad. That's why if you were to watch Bleach, you would have to use a filler list. And it does. It sucks in that way. I understand that part. But if you're going straight Bleach canon, all of the arcs are good, maybe other than the last one, but all of the arcs are good. All of the art style is so good. The soundtrack for this show as well, top tier soundtrack, competing with Naruto, honestly, competing with Naruto for its time, for the best soundtrack of that time in terms of anime, I feel like, personally. And the fights in that show, man, oh my goodness, the fights in that show, man, they are just, it's different. Like I said, it's different from Naruto. Naruto has really smooth, fluent fights, whatever the word is, yes. But Bleach's fights are just a bit more like grimy and just realistic, because the world in Bleach is also, Ichigo starts off as your normal school kid walking down the street, and then some ghost pops up in front of him, and then Shinigami, you know, ghost figure, spirit figure, and that's how he gets his powers. Obviously, it's still like very fictional, but I feel like it's a little more realistic than the ninja walking on walls type stuff, chakra, shooting fireballs out the mouth. So yeah, the fighting is just a little bit more, obviously, in terms of like, yeah, they fight in the spirit realm, blah 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 blah, but I mean just like the characters in general, I feel like they're a lot more relatable, and they're just a lot more like the fighting, just like you could feel it, you know, you could feel, I don't know how to explain it, but it is just all the fighting, especially like Kenpachi, his fights. Oh my gosh, and when they fought the Espada, and when they were rescuing Rukia, and Ichiko was unlocking his Bankai, and he also was learning his holification, and then him versus Grimmjow, him versus Ukiura, and then all these like different fights. There were just so many to count, and I feel like if you only watch the canon, you're constantly getting action with different fights and different people, and it's just, you're really not bored with just canon. I feel like there have been people who I've tried putting on to Bleach who said they got bored, and that's just facts, and there's really nothing I can do about it because everyone's entitled to their own opinion, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, a lot of people also really like Bleach. You know, a lot of people that I've told to watch Bleach have also really liked Bleach. So it really just depends on the person you are and the type of show you're trying to watch. And Bleach canon by itself is really, really good, and I would highly recommend it because it is there. People hate on it so much, so much, because I guess because it is the worst of the big three. It is. So I guess maybe that's why it just gets that hate. It's like the butt of the joke. You know what I mean? Because One Piece is still going, the best of the three. Naruto, as iconic as it is, you know what I'm saying? And then Bleach wasn't really able to leave its mark like that. You know, it's coming back, and I'm so excited because as soon as I finished Bleach for the first time, I was like, Bleach is coming back. And I said that on a yearly basis, annually. I was like, Bleach is coming back. It has to. And then when it actually got announced, oh my gosh, that was like, it was unreal. It didn't even make sense. I was like, wow, it's actually coming back? That's nuts. But I didn't read it. I didn't want to read it because I had confidence that it was eventually going to come back. And the fact that it is, that's wonderful. But I heard this arc, for some people, is top tier. But I heard for some people it's also really bad. So I don't know. Spoiler incoming also. Because I got some of this arc spoiled for me, and I heard Ichigo is also a Quincy, which doesn't make sense at all. I don't even know how that happens. But I mean, I guess we'll have to see. Obviously, we'll have to see. But aside from that, I mean, just watch Bleach, man. If you minus all the filler, it's literally only like 150 episodes. It's like watching Hunter x Hunter. Honestly, it's like watching Hunter x Hunter, which is not bad. I watched Hunter x Hunter in a week. First of all, I'm going to get some honorable mentions, okay? I haven't seen Fairy Tail, but I know it gets a lot more hate than it deserves. I heard it's actually not that bad of a show. I haven't watched it enough to really assess that, in my opinion, for my opinion, but I heard it gets a lot more hate than it deserves. So Fairy Tail is definitely an honorable mention. Another honorable mention, definitely Demon Slayer, which this is the reason why it wasn't like in the top 5, because Demon Slayer is a good show. People really hate on the fact that the story is very mid and that the animation is as good as it is. That would be everyone's kind of, not joke about it, but that would be like their comments about it. They'd be like, Demon Slayer's mid. Demon Slayer's mid, only has good animation, not even that good. When in reality, the story is good. The show itself is a good show. But I feel like the animation is just as good as it is. That it kind of seems like the story is mid, which story is not anything god tier. Obviously, story is not anything god tier, but the story's not bad by any means. I feel like the animation just outshines it so much that maybe makes it seem like it's mid, if that makes any sense. But yeah, Demon Slayer gets a little too much hate in terms of that. Overall, the show itself is not hated. It's loved by a lot of people. But I mean, I feel like that is a talking point of a lot of people, that they comment on the fact that the animation is better than the actual story. And I understand it, but I don't feel like that's completely the case. Another honorable mention, Seven Deadly Sins. Whenever I watch Seven Deadly Sins, a new season, I always binge it. For some reason, there's some binge factor that Seven Deadly Sins gives me that no other show really does, at least right now. Right? When I sit down and watch Seven Deadly Sins, I'm truthfully, I can watch like 6 episodes in a row. Because there's something about the show and the art style and the characters and the environment that make it very enjoyable for me to keep coming back to. I don't know what it is. Now, I know Seven Deadly Sins gets way too much hate. No, it's actually, it's deserved. Well-deserved hate for that animation, because what the fuck was that? You know what I mean? What was that? But if you take a step back and don't look at the animation, just look at the story is really enjoyable. It really is. It's a really enjoyable story with a lot of enjoyable characters. There's not really one character that I don't like that. You know, all of the characters are original, and they all are very diverse, and they're very enjoyable to watch. You know, all of them are enjoyable to watch, and the story's not bad by any means. It's not some god tier type story, but it's not bad by any means. And I feel like Seven Deadly Sins only gets that hate because of the animation that was put out, which obviously is understandable. Like, if it had season 1 animation, no one would be talking about it and hating on it like they are. But there are a lot of people who won't even watch the show because of that animation. You know, so I feel like you have to step aside for a little bit and just give it a chance, because the animation got better. because I'm on the new season right now and I'm looking at the new season. The animation definitely got better. It's not what it once was, but it definitely got better from what it was in season 3. That was just a different type of bad. But put that aside and then just push through it and then really only focus on the story. And it's a good show. It is. It's a good show. Regardless of that, it's a good show. Okay, and my number one most overhated anime, in my opinion, is Boruto. Oh my gosh, bro. It won't ever end. It really won't ever end. And I feel like a lot of people are about to hop onto the wave, most certainly, because the story is getting good. But I understand where a lot of the hate comes from Boruto, especially the fact that Naruto is the prequel to Boruto. So Boruto's sort of in Naruto's shadow. Boruto is not its individual show. I mean, I look at it as its individual show, but a lot of people don't because obviously it's in the same universe as Naruto. So it's never really going to get that shine like that on a greater scale. Like to a lot of there are going to be people like myself who just could view it as an individual show, but a lot of people view it connected to Naruto and they can't really separate it like that, you know? Yes, the anime filler in Boruto was bad. There is some that was not bad. Like I feel like the what was it, the Ishiki? I don't remember, the fishing pole Otsuki. I'm pretty sure that was all filler, anime canon, but filler like overall in the story. And I thought it wasn't bad. I feel like he was definitely underpowered to shit. He was really supposed to be 10 times more powerful than he was, but they really nerfed him like bad. They nerfed him so bad to where he got beat by Boruto and fucking beat by Boruto and who else? I don't even remember. But yeah, that was really bad, honestly. Some of the character designs are questionable in Boruto, like Gaara and Anko and a couple other people and Shino. Like I understand that, and it makes the show seem a little bit more kiddish and childish at times. I understand that part, but it's also a different time period. And there are a lot of people who just want that same feeling as like Naruto before Shippuden, and you're just not going to get that with Boruto. You really aren't. And while it is unfortunate, I feel like Boruto does its own type of art well, and it is going to get better. It is going to get really good, and people are going to start hopping onto Boruto. But it definitely is overhated because it's not even that bad of a show. If you separate the fact that it is like Naruto, it's not a bad show. If Naruto never existed and Boruto started where it did, it's not a bad show. It really isn't. It's like B tier. It's a B tier show, minus the filler. Because filler is a big part in a lot of these longer shows, and it is really annoying. But I mean, minus the filler, it is not a bad show by any means. It's only going to move up from here. My hot take is that Boruto will be the best new gen main character. At the end of his run, compared to Asta and Deku and all these, I feel like he's going to end up being not only the strongest, but he will be just the coldest and the best. Because I can already, if those rumors are true about like how he turns against the village because he's a threat, and then like Naruto and them have to protect him, and it's going to be like Naruto and Boruto and a couple other people versus like the nations. If that actually happens, honestly, the show is going to be goated, man. Like, see, especially in the Naruto realm, seeing the good guy or like the Uzumaki become that type of villain, especially with Naruto's Hokage, when he becomes the villain to the, oh my gosh, that would just be absolutely insane, man. And I honestly would be, oh my, I don't even want to think about it. And then there's also Kawaki, who I don't even know where he's going to stand in all of this. It's just going to be absolutely insane if it goes that direction, man. It really is. It really is. And then there are people saying Shisui is alive, which makes sense. Because where is he? Where's his body? His body just won't disappear, especially in the world of Naruto. They're going to give him some sort of screen time, whether it be in the form of reanimation or whether it be in the form of him being actually alive. But he got injured so bad that it was like some Obito Chia type of thing where he's been gone for however many years, and then he just ended up not even being in the village anymore because he thought like this and that happened and that there were no more Uchiha. You know what I'm saying? And then that makes sense. Like if he heard about Itachi and how he ended the clan, maybe he just didn't even show it. He was like, I don't even have a place there, because maybe he thought he would be killed. You know, maybe he thought he wouldn't even be able to show his face there. So he's just been gone for so long. And then he eventually finds out the information about Sasuke and Itachi and Sasuke killing and all this. And then, oh my gosh, there's so much potential with Boruto. And I feel like people don't realize that because they can tie up a lot of the old things that could have been questionable in Naruto, Shisui being one of them. You know what I'm saying? And especially like what they did with Jiraiya and his clone and Kashin Koji. You know, I thought that was great. And Koji's still alive. I think he is in the manga. And they haven't talked about him for a minute now. I haven't read the last chapter. But things like that, you know, he could definitely expand on a lot of Naruto's old ideas and characters, and it is very, very exciting. I feel like it is very, very exciting to see what Boruto can do. And I feel like people are looking at the present right now and not looking at the future with Boruto. Boruto has a lot of potential. Will it fulfill it? And I really hope so. And that's why I feel like it's overhated. People really just gotta stop assuming with a lot of these shows. But yeah, that's really it. That's my top 5 overhated anime currently, in my opinion. I feel like these 5 anime are some of the most overhated in like the community, I guess you could say right now. And also just, yeah, I feel like these 5 are some of the most overhated anime currently. And yeah, that's really it. And yeah, let me know, I guess, more top 5 lists or something to do, and just games to play and all that. And yeah, that's really it. Like, subscribe, you know what I'm saying? That's it.